magic of gratitude.
It's a powerful one, especially in these times.
Right. Um, I know the situation in India is getting very, very bad, and hopefully, people take away some good things out of this webinar, and that brings mental peace, and at least be thankful to the family members and people around them. So, good luck, and
Thank you.
I'm here to listen to what you guys have to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Atulji, is it okay if I put up my presentation now, or should I do it when you introduce me?
Yeah, sure. Later. Just as I finish my introduction,
Okay.
I call you. Have time.
Sure.
All right. I think it's 5 and we can get started.
Yeah.
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, depending on where you are, part of the world you are attending this webinar from. We are very happy to have you here. We are very grateful for your presence. And I'm sure you will enjoy this conversation that we will have with two of the best mindfulness meditation teachers, that we have around. So, but before I introduce you to these two wonderful faces that you see on the screen, I will tell you a little bit about Seva at Home. Seva at Home is a company which is based out of the US, and we've been in this country now for almost 2 years. The whole journey of Seva at Home started with one of the founders having gone through a personal tragedy. And in 2016, he was based out of US, working for a company called Alex Partners, and he would fly down to India, from Boston, Hong Kong, India, to look after his ailing father. His father was suffering from cancer. Sometimes he was there, sometimes he was not there. And this went on for some time until 2018, his father passed away. It was then that Atul Gandhi realized the need for remote care in this country, and Seva at Home was born. Since then, Atul has gathered like minded people with him, and we have all come together to form this company which is committed to Seva of the elderly and the sick. So that's where Seva at Home originated from. Today, Seva at Home has forayed into corporate wellness. So corporates that tie up with Seva at Home have access to our platform where the employees can then log into this platform and avail home healthcare services. And these are services of doctor, nurse, physiotherapist, nutritionist, or a care attendant at home. And they can pay as per use. And what is wonderful on the platform is that they can actually choose their provider. And when I say provider, I mean a nurse or a care attendant, depending on their requirement. There's, of course, a lot more on that platform. And, for some of us who have actually availed those services would know that. We manage medical rooms, we do health checkups, we conduct webinar sessions, we send out ambulances to corporates. So we do a lot of work which is related to healthcare. We reckon that we are the one-stop solution for a company that's looking for any kind of a welfare solution. Today's webinar is entitled The Magic of Gratitude. And we have with us today an old friend, Ashish, and Dr. Nupur. Now, Ashish is a mindfulness meditation teacher. He's actually a cost accountant by education. He's done his MBA from Symbiosis. And somewhere, he got interested in mindfulness and meditation. And he's gone and got himself certified by the CPD, which is Continuing Professional Development in the UK. He's also been certified as a trainer from Success Resources in the US. He's done a lot of work with a lot of corporates. He's founded a company of his own. This company is called Mindful Living, and where he conducts a whole lot of these sessions that are truly transforming, in my opinion. You have Dr. Nupur, doctor. Why? Because she's actually, and you'll be surprised, she is a dentist by profession. She's an MDS. So she practiced dentistry for 10 years in India before she got interested into clinical hypnotherapy and mindfulness. She's based out of London. For the last 5 years, she's been working with the cancer patients at St. George's Hospital in London and looking after them in terms of mindfulness sessions and clinical hypnotherapy. A project work was submitted to the British Association of Surgical Oncology. A poster presentation was on a cancer patient is, who was had to undergo bone marrow biopsy, and he was had this fear of the needle. And so a lot of this clinical hypnotherapy would work on that patient. She's done quality improvement for patients in the cancer patients, head and neck cancer patients in St. George's Hospital. So there couldn't be I could go on and on ranting about her, and but we 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 have limited time, and we need to cover not only the topics but also then talk to you and answer some of your questions at the end. So put your questions in the Q&A box, uh, and after Ashish has made a small presentation, Nupur will do so, and then we will take on the questions. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. I give you Ashish Kumar.
Thank you, Atulji, for such a wonderful introduction. And we also would like to thank you for offering us this opportunity to interact with so many people on this topic, which is so topical. You know, we are going through very tough times, and gratitude is a very powerful practice which can help us deal with this. I welcome everybody to the session. And as Atulji was mentioning, I'm a cost accountant and MBA in finance. So one thing that I'm very conscious about is the return that I get on my investment. And uh, I assure you that the time that you are investing in this session of 1 hour, you will get very high returns. That's a promise I would like to make to you on behalf of all of us. So please be with us and learn how gratitude can help us deal with the many challenges that we are facing today, whether it is related to our health or the health of our loved ones, near and dear ones, about the money challenges, relationship challenges, and the challenges we face at our workplace. So these are some of the things that we are going to be talking about. I don't know whether 2020 was a more difficult year or 2021 is more difficult year. There are wide variety of challenges that we are facing all around us. And one thing I would like to request all of you is to participate actively in the session and answer yes if any of the following statements resonates true with you. If you feel that you wish that you could handle stress better, please type Y or yes in the chat box. If you wish I could cut down my negative emotions, please type Y in the chat box. I wish I could have better control over my reactions. I wish I had more time. We are struggling. Many people I speak to are struggling with handling both personal and professional lives, working from homes. This is something which is very difficult. A lot of people have difficulties in sleeping well. So I wish I could improve the quality of my sleep. I wish I had fewer moments of self-doubt. I wish I could be happier. And friends, would you believe me if I were to share with you? Thank you for your enthusiastic response. If I were to share with you that there is one practice, one simple practice, which can help us deal with all these challenges, and that simple practice is gratitude. Gratitude is a very simple but a very powerful practice, and we will see the science behind it. Don't go by just what I am saying or Dr. Nupur is saying. there is a lot of research which has been done in the area of gratitude. And one of the foremost researchers on gratitude is Dr. Robert Emmons from University of California, Davis, who has done immense amount of research over the last 10-15 years on the physical benefits, how it helps in improving our immunity. And that is one of the things that we can do in times like COVID. We don't know where the COVID is going to come and hit us. Now people are saying it's there in the air only. So, building a strong immunity is something that, we can all do with, and reduce the blood pressure, aches and pains, have better quality of sleep. And there are many psychological benefits which are there, which is feeling positive, more alert, happier, more generous, compassionate, etc. And these attributes are very, very important in the current times, because we need to take care of not only ourselves, but people around us. And when we talk about the leadership here, it is not having leadership in your title. It is not each one of us are leaders, whether we are a husband or wife, or have a family. I think we are leader because we are taking care of people around us. So it's very important for us to to stay strong, to be strong, to be happy, to be joyful, so that that is what we emanate, and everybody around us can benefit from those positive emotions and our good health. There are so many challenges I hear people facing these days, where both they're like husband and wife are staying, and both of them are not well. So who takes care of them? So it's very important for us that we stay strong, stay healthy. And it is not only Dr. Robert Emmons' research that we have fallen back on. We have, Dr. Nupur and I have researched this extensively, and we are practitioners, not only researchers and students, but practitioners. So we have, in the session that we're going to talk about today, research and content that is based on the work done by Deepak and Oprah Winfrey, the Magic book, which is written by Rhonda Burns, the research that has been done by Harvard Business Review, and done by Janice Kaplan, which is documented in a very beautiful book called The Gratitude Diaries. So these are, usually people ask us at the end of the session, if I want to know more about gratitude, where is it that I can learn about? So I've put that up front for you, that these are the sources. Please feel free to take screenshots of any of our slides. We are more than happy for you to take screenshots. Atulji spoke about it. I founded Mindful Living in 2018 with a mission to reach out to 1 million people and help them lead healthier, wealthier, happier lives. In the last over 2.5 years, we have conducted nearly 200 sessions for leading organizations in the country like IBM, MIT University, Tata Group, Times of India. And today we are very happy to be conducting this session on the Seva at Home platform. Seva at Home is a wonderful organization which is working in the area of providing care at home. And this is something which is so relevant in times like this today, where the admission in hospital is not is very difficult to get, and people can stay at home and take care of themselves and their loved ones. We would request you to keep a notepad and pen handy so that you can take notes. And the session will be for an hour's duration, finishing at 6 o'clock sharp. So please ensure that you are not disturbed, because what you're going to be learning today will possibly transform your life like it has transformed for me and Dr. Nupur and anybody who has who practices gratitude. So this is very simple. Don't get fooled by the fact that, oh, this is so simple, will this work or not? Don't believe me, try it, and only then you believe what we are sharing with you. This session today will be divided into 4 sections. The first one is what is gratitude? Why should we practice gratitude? What is gratitude gap? And the last one on few practical exercises which you can take, which are simple and practical, which you can take back with you and you can continue to practice at home. So the gratitude is based on a very simple law of nature. Do you recognize this gentleman who's there in the picture? If you recognize the person, please type out his name. I seem to be forgetting his name. Please help me remember. Isaac Newton. Thank you very much, Yogesh. Thank you, Ritu. Anybody else? Thank you, Suchita. Thank you, Kalpana. So this is, of course, you very rightly identified. He's Isaac Newton, and the gratitude is based on the third law of motion, which talks about cause and effect, and it says that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And when we insert gratitude in this, it reads like every action of giving thanks always causes an opposite reaction of receiving. And what we receive is always equal to the amount of gratitude we give. This is very important. The more gratitude we give, the more we will receive, the less gratitude we give. So that is why it is very important to understand the practices that we're going to talk about towards the end. And as you practice those, you practice, live in gratitude, practice gratitude, you will find that the bounty of the universe starts coming to you. Every action of gratitude sets off an action of receiving. So this is what we just spoke about. And then we move on to see why it is important, and here we would like to talk about this wonderful work done by Dr. David Hawkins, which is mentioned in his book, Power versus Force. And you can make a note of this if you like, and in which he's calibrated the energy levels associated with our emotions. And there, as you can see, there are low energy emotions and there are high energy emotions. Courage, which is the 200 level, is the kind of break-even point. Anything below that is low energy. And it is very important for us to understand that gratitude is one of the simplest ways and quickest ways to move from a low energy state to a high energy state. And Dr. Nupur is going to be talking more about this, when she is discussing with you later. So I'm not going to take too much time. Just understand that this is one of the quickest, practicing gratitude is one of the quickest ways to raise your energy. And when you are operating in a high energy level, then there are many beautiful things that happen. Synchronicities happen, serendipity happens, things start happening for you. You start realizing that we are part of a much bigger a scheme of things. We're not just individuals. Many a times we get constricted to thinking that I am, alone, or I am, kind of left alone. And a lot of people are very disturbed, but when you start practicing gratitude, you start getting the sense of connection to the wider universe, and that then start seeing things happening for you. And this is what Dr. Hawkins says, and he's not the only one. Many successful business people practice gratitude as a strategy for success. And this is an article in CNBC, which I am citing here, which says that Ariana Huffington, who is one of the 100 most powerful women in the world, Anthony Robbins, who is considered one of the foremost gurus in the world today, and Oprah Winfrey practice gratitude as a strategy for success. And but Oprah Winfrey is a billionaire, and she is a self-made billionaire worth about $3 billion, which is about 20,000 crore rupees in Indian rupee terms. And she was not born rich. In fact, she was born to a very poor family, to a single unwed mother on a farm in rural America. And she had a very difficult childhood. And from, that kind of background, she has risen, done very well. And they have been very, very successful. She has her own news channel, she has her own program which she ran for over 25 years very, very successfully. And she practices gratitude. She has written extensively about it in her book, Things I Know for Sure. And one of the reporters once asked her, that's Oprah, it's very easy for you to be grateful because you have got everything in life. And Oprah gave a very beautiful answer to that gentleman. It is not because I have everything I am grateful. It is because I am grateful I have everything. That, my friends, is a very key point. Sometimes we find it difficult to practice gratitude because we feel a lack of many things in our life. We don't have money, we don't have the love we are looking for, we don't have the health we desire, and we don't feel, what is there to be happy about? मैं किस चीज की खुशी मनाऊं? But the point is, if we are not grateful for what we have, we will not to get what we want, and we are going to discuss the science about behind this. So feel gratitude for what you have got, whatever little you have got, and you will find that whatever you focus on will multiply in your life. So that's a very important point. And so we have discussed medical research, we have discussed business people who are following, and the next one is about practicing gratitude at workplace. And this is a research done by Adam Grant, who is one of the foremost organizational psychologists in the world, who has written many best-selling books. And he did this research in a university where there was a group of students who were calling for fundraising. And it's a very thankless job to call people and ask them for money. So what they did was, in a 2-week study, in the 1 week, the students were divided into 2 groups. And in the first week, everybody made calls. But in the second week, what happened was the director of the university came, and she appreciated one of the groups, and said thank you, and really appreciate the work you're doing. And then one of the students who benefited from the funds these were raising also came and spoke to these people. And as a result of that, what they found was the efforts which the second group of students put was 50% more. So what this goes on to show is that when we express gratitude for the good work that people are doing, the discretionary effort is put by people. There is a little amount of effort. There is some effort we will put just to make the salary, but or the money that we are getting paid. But when we are appreciated for what we do, we put in discretionary effort, and we go and want to strive for more. And that is one of the reasons why gratitude is very important to be practiced in the current context, when everybody is struggling. There is so much of bad news that is coming in. So very important to give a sense of comfort to the people, appreciate what they're doing. We all feel good when we are appreciated. So when we appreciate our colleagues, when we appreciate the people who are in our care, they feel good, and the energy level goes up, and the immunity goes up, and everybody does more, is happier, etc. But one of the challenges which people face in practicing gratitude is being busy. There is so much to do. It is very easy to not find time, and that is one of the reasons we don't say thank you, or don't take out time to say thank you consciously. And it is at this point, I would like to invite Dr. Nupur to come and talk about what is gratitude gap. Why we've seen why gratitude is what is important. It is science based. It is a law which works like law of gravity. And there is so much of research done by Dr. David Hawkins, Oprah Winfrey practices, Adam Grant has done it. But why still we don't practice it? So over to you, Dr. Nupur. Please take us through, what is gratitude gap, and thereon.
Thank you so much, Ashish. And thank you to everybody for being present here for the webinar today. So gratitude, as Ashish has discussed and walked us through, is I call it's a force like as big as gravity. And it has the power of transformation in our lives, as we have kind of understood from what Ashish was discussing. But the key question is then, why are we not experiencing it? So what is this gratitude gap? A gratitude gap is the gap between feeling grateful and expressing gratitude. So even though most of us will say that, yes, we are grateful people. I mean, I do thank people around me. But understanding that how much you feel it and how much you express it, and that's the gap that we need to bridge. The feelings have to be deeper. They don't have to be just superficial, almost autopilot mode of saying thank you, but actually going deeper in your feelings and actually experiencing the energy of gratitude, and then with equal vigor and vitality expressing it. So the gap between feeling and expressing is what we need to now narrow down. And that's the reason why perhaps most of us haven't even thought of gratitude as a transformational force in our life. This is the gentleman we would like to bring your attention to. His name is Nick Wojcik, Australian gentleman. Was born without limbs. That's how he was born. He had no arms, he had no legs. For the longest time, obviously, he was under depression. But when he started to understand life and kind of get over his challenges, now he has become an inspirational speaker across the world. And when you read about him, and we really urge you to go and listen to his talks, he's a very inspirational teacher. He says that the point when we realize that what we have is not trivial. He realized that he doesn't have hands and legs, which is the most common thing for most of the population of the world. So we are not really grateful for what we have, but unless till the time it's taken away from us. So that's what Nick reminds us, that, the gratitude gap comes because we don't acknowledge, respect, and value what we already have in our lives. Somehow our societies, somehow our culture is built to always be in pursuit of something. But Nick reminds us, and when we look at him, when we hear him, he asks us to pause and reflect and be grateful for all that you have, the ability to even hold a glass of water, to have the coordination between 5 fingers. I remember once listening to Amitabh Bachchan's interview, and he had, I think, on a Diwali day, the firecracker burst in his hands, and his skin melted, and there was a lot of he was rushed to the emergency, and then his recovery journey started for the hand. And he said that the very fact that our hand, all 5 fingers, work in coordination is a miracle. And he didn't realize it till he almost lost it. So, there is so much in our life that we have to be grateful for. And that's why we need to now start bridging this gap of gratitude by feeling it more deeply and expressing it more generously. Thank you, Ashish. Next slide, please. So let's understand also, sometimes we feel that the gap exists because somehow we have never understood gratitude. We have never understand the gravity of gratitude. We feel that it's a very soft skill to have. People who keep thanking are very soft and perhaps useless. Sometimes we're very complacent. We don't even think twice about the profundity of actions done to us. Whatever we are experiencing, it's just a very attitude of complacency that fosters this gap. People think that sometimes if you're expressing gratitude, you almost feel that people will underperform. Your team will not be motivated. They need aggression to be motivated. They need a hard task master to get them to do work. But if a senior in the organization is grateful, we have enough evidence to show that a grateful leader creates a bigger impact than a leader who perhaps holds back and resorts to other methods. So, this is again a misconception. And a lot of time people feel that, I never received gratitude for this. It was a thankless job for me. So why should I thank the other person? And it happens a lot in organizations. It happens a lot in the family systems also now. COVID has brought our families together more than ever. We are spending times with our loved ones at home. Dynamics have changed. So understand that, don't wait for somebody to give you gratitude. Let's start by first ourselves experiencing and expressing it to others. And then let's see how it comes back to us multiplied. Also, one of the key things which in my experience I share with about gratitude gap is that people almost have a sense of entitlement. We feel we are entitled to so much in life, whatever we have, whatever people, relationships, we feel that this is and I'm entitled to this. So why should I be grateful for that? And entitlement leads to arrogance. So be very mindful that, am I being ungrateful in life because I feel I have a sense of entitlement? And perhaps that is creating a gap in your life for practicing gratitude. So these are certain things we would really respect you to ponder upon about gratitude. So let us come to actually practicing gratitude in our lives. How can we practice gratitude and reap the benefits? So I would be talking more about gratitude in terms of health. And gratitude is really a vaccine. And we are all right now understanding the value of vaccines. So let's understand how gratitude can help us in our well-being. So there's a lot of research that has been done in this field, and I'm very grateful to researchers because they actually saw the value of gratitude in healing. And some of the research that we have condensed for you today is that through the studies, through fMRI studies or functional magnetic resonance imaging studies, and through other markers, now we know that gratitude actually impacts our brain, our neural networks. Gratitude impacts our internal biochemistry. So our body, our physiology is the biggest chemical factory that you'll ever come across. All the chemicals that somehow we consume, we have receptors for in the body. So that means the body inherently produces them. That's why we have receptors to accept those chemicals in the body. So gratitude actually enhances our feel-good hormones in the body. Dopamine, serotonins, these are all the feel-good hormone, oxytocin, the love hormone. So there is evidence now that we have that when you practice gratitude, these markers go up in the body. Our bliss centers in the brain, there are certain areas which neuroscientists have identified which start to fire more. And the neural networks start to grow more. It's called neurogenesis when we practice elevated emotions of gratitude. And that results in fostering our positive thinking. Also, gratitude leads to reduction in cortisol, which is our stress hormone. And right now, we are all experiencing, especially in India, high levels of stress and anxiety. So, understanding that we ourselves can shift our focus and we ourselves can create feel good hormones, reduce the cortisol production in our body by practicing gratitude, by shifting our focus on gratitude. And also, there was a study done by McCarthy and his colleagues, which actually studied gratitude and appreciation on the levels of cortisol, which I just mentioned. And they noticed that the cardiac patients showed better cardiac functioning because they became more resilient. And these are the times when we need to practice more emotional and mental resilience through the times that we are going through. And, as we said, because it leads to reduction in cortisol and increasing our feel-good hormones, it is a natural antidepressant. So we cannot hold more than one emotion at a time. It's a very important thing to introspect on. We can't hold more than one emotion at a time. So when we are holding gratitude as our primary emotional state, we cannot feel upset. We cannot feel stressed because human mind and body is not equipped to hold more than one emotion at a time. So that's why we say gratitude is also an antidepressant. Now let us understand from the gratitude and body perspective that our human body is actually a miraculous instrument. I have spent close to 14 years studying human body. And it's amazing that, it takes you that much time to just become a specialist in one aspect of our human body. So a cardiologist would have studied easily 15 years to be a cardiac specialist. A cardiac surgeon would study probably 18 years to be, and these guys are specializing in one particular area. So you can imagine it is the most complicated machine ever existed, which has not yet been replicated fully. We could have grown organ systems through stem cells, but we haven't yet managed to assemble a whole human being in a lab. So I really want you to understand that who you are is miracle. You are a walking, talking miracle in yourself. So let us understand that the cells that we have, they say that one cell represents the entire solar system in its complexity and in its expanse. So understanding that gratitude begins at home. And when I say home, I don't talk about the home that you live in. I talk about this human body, which is our first primary home that we all have. So let us understand that really start by thanking our bodies. Let us start by thanking our cells, our organ systems. And this doesn't mean that if something is not going well for you, maybe there is a part of your body that is not working right. Despite that, understand that there is so much more that is going on in synchronizing our bodily processes, in creating a homeostasis that we cannot even fathom. So let's understand that each of us have a miraculous instrument that we have in this lifetime and be grateful for that. So let's practice gratitude from this space. All the senses that we have, the ability for you to hear me if you can, the ability of you to see me if you can, oxygen. Now we more than ever, we are understanding the need for us to breathe. Have we ever stopped and thanked our breath? How many times have we actually said a thank you, or mindfully taken a breath in and mindfully and respectfully said thank you to the breath out? We don't do these things somehow. Life, we feel that acknowledging our own human body, human processes is trivial because we have taken it for granted till it is taken away from us. So really, really encouraging you and taking this time because you're present here to really understand that what you have is miraculous. Human brain in itself, human heart, and actually to have all these wonderful organs to work in such synchronicity, in such rhythm. So realize that let's start by being grateful for this human body. And you'll be amazed that how much you will be given, how much the body will start to speak to you, how much good you'll start to feel. Next slide, please. And this is the scale of consciousness, which Ashish briefly mentioned to, and I would like to bring your attention back to this because it really warrants another look, is to understand that thanks to Dr. David Hawkins and his team, that they were able to calibrate human emotions. And yes, we have never heard of emotions getting calibrated. So these are the, before I say that, I must say this to you, that everything in this universe is energy. The more you reflect upon the universe, the more you reflect on yourself, the more you go deeper into quantum physics, you realize that we are living in a vibrational universe. Everything is vibration. Everything is energy, including you and me and all of us. And we are a unified field of energy. And that's what led to this research, and that's what led to the book. So understand that the human emotions that we experience have also a vibration and a frequency. And that's why sometimes when we are gripped with a sense of fear, it's very difficult, or depression or sadness, it's very difficult for us to come out of it. Because somehow we keep wallowing in that pool of energy, in that soup. So especially in the times that we are in today, be very mindful, be very conscious of where am I vibrating on the scale. So this is for all of you to reflect, take a picture if you want to see that where do I often find myself on this vibrational scale. And that will give you a sense that that is predominantly your vibrational frequency. Now the intention for us is to go in this scale above. And how do we do that? So just imagine an invisible lift, an elevator that's taking you up the scale. And that's what we see, that when we practice gratitude, gratitude is that lift. Gratitude is that elevation that takes you from anger to pride, or fear to anger, desire. That means you are going up a notch up. And each time you go up, you are vibrating at a higher frequency. And that's what we want to do. We want to slowly start practicing gratitude, and we will be amazed at how it lifts us up from lower emotional states, fear, anxiety, stress, into higher vibrational states of courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, poise. And this is all possible. The more you practice gratitude, the more you'll start seeing a shift in your emotional and mental state. Because as I said, when we practice gratitude, our mind and body cannot hold another emotion. It has to focus on gratitude, right? Also, we see that these are contracted states and these are expanded states, because the more we feel fear, anxiety, stress, we close down, we clamp down. And the more we start going up the vibrational scale, we feel a sense of expansion. That's where prayers come in place. Only when you are in a space of neutrality can you pray for other people. Otherwise, you're too clamped down. So, this is a very, very good reflection for all of us to ponder on. Thank you, Ashish. Could we go further, please? So this slide is talking about how can gratitude transform. Along with all that we just discussed and we saw, gratitude really helps us to shift our focus and really reflect on this. Sometimes even today, all that's happening in the world is difficult. But if your focus is constantly on hearing the negative information that is flooding you, if you're all the time going to your WhatsApp, if you're all the time going to the television for the news, and all the time you're circulating fear-based messages on groups on WhatsApp, that's where your focus lies. But we must understand wherever our focus lies, that's the power. We are empowering that state. So we need to, and that's a beautiful picture that's reflecting that, when we focus the rays of sun, we can actually ignite a fire. So we must understand that our focus is powerful. And gratitude almost is that thing that helps us to shift our focus and change the gear at which we are operating. So understand this point. It's in giving that we receive. So third law of Newton, what are we giving? We are giving gratitude. We are giving appreciation. Appreciation, when we appreciate someone or somebody, and we do it genuinely from our heart, we can feel the energy in our hearts. And that's what I would really ask you to do. Gratitude is an energy that is felt. It is not an energy that is just spoken of. So now start saying the same thank you, saying the same appreciative words to the people around you, to life around you, but do it from a heart space, not from a head space. Gratitude is also a journey from the head to heart. So, understand that the more you do it with feeling, with genuine intention, the more you give it with that power, the more it'll come back to you, because it is a force. Why do we say it's a law of life? Because like we know from gravity, apple always falls down. We know from third law, what we give, we receive. That's the gratitude has the same law. When you give, you get. It's that powerful, and that's been experienced by all of us. And I'm sure Ashish mentioned a lot of big names. Big names are always mentioned like a trap to attract us. But we hear this from our grandparents, from our well-meaning wise adults in our lives. So guys, really understand that it's in giving that we receive. And gratitude is a field of energy, as I just talked about that scale. When you are logging into 104.8 FM, that's what I've written on the slide, you will always catch that station. 91.2 exists, 101.2 exists. But because you choose to tune into 104.8 FM, you listen to that. But that doesn't mean other frequencies are not operating at the radio station. But you are choosing to tune into that frequency. So understand, what are you choosing to tune into? Through gratitude, you can actually tune into higher vibrations and frequencies. So the choice actually lies in your hand, and then experience states of joy, health, and abundance. On that note, let's come to the next slide. Health and food are very intricately related. And today is also World Earth Day. Earth, Mother Earth is what gives us, what provides us with food, with nourishment. It anchors us on this planet. We have gravity because of Earth. We have oxygen on this beautiful planet, So today is the World Earth Day. So let us understand that we have been doing a lot of our things in our lives mindlessly. Gratitude brings a lot of mindfulness in our life. So whether you go and grab an apple today, or you have a plate full of food, don't do it in front of the television. Don't do it while seeing your phone. Just be with what you have been served. Be with what you have cooked. And just a small plate of food can take you all the way to the point from where it got harvested. to the point where the first seed was sown, and to the point where then the entire supply chain from the farmer to the market, from the market to the vendor, your street vendor who perhaps you have never talked and asked, how are you doing? To that maid servant perhaps who comes to your house, or to that lady in your home. It could be your mother, it could be your wife, it could be whoever cooks your food, it could be you. So, one single thing can take you down an entire vortex of gratitude. So really, let's today, and we have a saying in Sanskrit that says, "Annadata sukhina bhavatu." So it could be the grower of the food, or it could be the person who cooks the food for you. But really, now let's understand that we need to be more mindful. Let's not waste our lives mindlessly doing things and in pursuit of things which may never come to us. But let's understand that gratitude can ground us into this present moment with a lot of positive energy and focus and healing. So, on that note, I am going to hand it back to Ashish. Thank you so much for your patience. And if you have any questions, I'd be very happy to take them at the end of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those wonderful insights. Friends, if you loved what Dr. Nupur shared, please use the emoji button in the toolbar and show us some reaction, or you can just type it out in the chat. One thing that you liked about what Dr. Nupur shared, or anything, just let us know how you feel about what Dr. Nupur shared with us quickly, and then we will move on to a very simple but very profound practice, which I love doing. So let us see what we have coming up here. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you. And we move on to do this practice, which is called the Lotus of Gratitude, which I learned from Nitya Shanti. It's a very simple practice, but a very profound one to start your day. First, hear me out how it is to be done, and then we can all do this together. Please bring your hands together like this, and think of one thing that you are grateful for. In my case, I start by thinking that I'm grateful that I'm alive. I tested positive for COVID, and I understand. I know what I went through. So I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that my family is healthy. I'm grateful that we have got food on our table. We have got a roof over our head, and like that you can go on. And as you think of one thing that you're grateful for, you can open the finger, and then when you're done with 10, then we have a nice lotus in our hands, and then and I'll get you through. So you may keep your eyes open or closed and think of one thing that you are grateful for. You can say it aloud or say it in your mind. Uh, and once you have done with your 10, bring your hands together to your heart and say thank you to the planet Earth for providing us with all the food that we eat, for providing us with all the water that we drink, providing us with the oxygen which is there in our atmosphere, and I feel a sense of gratitude towards Mother Earth for supporting us and the lives of our near and dear ones. This simple practice is a very good one to start your day with. You could do this first thing when you get up in the morning, and also when you go to bed at night. As you would have realized, this hardly takes a minute. So for everybody who is very busy, this is a good 1 minute exercise to connect with everything that is good in our lives and say thank you. The next one is money, and a lot of people are very stressed about money situation. And the reason I shared this book is because in this book, Ken Honda, who is the author of this bestseller, says there is a very simple technique for multiplying money or giving energy to money in your life, is saying thank you money. Thank you money every time money flows into your life, and say thank you for being with me when money flows out of your life. We all want to hold on to money. We don't like it when it goes out. But money, we need to understand money is like an energy flow. It's like our breathing in and breathing out. I can't just be taking in oxygen. I also need to release it. That's the way money comes in and goes out. So don't feel. Earlier, I used to feel very frustrated whenever I had to spend money. But from the time I learned about this practice and started practicing it, I realized there is so much power, which we get when we say thank you, money, when it comes in, and thank you, money, for being with me when it goes out. And this is a technique which Ken Honda learned from his mentor, whose name is Vahehi Takeda. You can read this book to know more. And he was a Japanese, the poor soul is no more, but he was a Japanese billionaire who is reputed to be the Warren Buffett of Japan. So very powerful, very simple techniques in this book. Say thank you, money, as many number of times as you receive money. Then, I discussed earlier that due to lack of time, many of us miss sharing, saying thank you. And this is one gratitude shower practice which you can institute in your families or at your workplace, where everybody gets together for 2 minutes, either on a Zoom call or any other call, and quickly you say thank you to the person you want to thank. And in 2 minutes time, you can be done with doing your thank yous. And the last point which I would like to make with you is that there is nothing more urgent than saying thank you. Many a times we are so busy, and when the work gets done, we think ye to hona hi tha, what's great, ye to hona hi tha, and we just move on. But take that time to say thank you to the person who has done it, whether it is the maid in your house who is coming, or your car cleaner, or your colleague, or your family member, anybody who has done anything for you, please acknowledge. And when you acknowledge, you find that that you set in motion that energy which brings more and more good to you. So on that note, we will finish. As we finish, there is just one thing I would like to share with you, that at the end of this session, you have two choices, whether to practice the simple techniques that we shared with you, or not to practice, and life will go on as it was earlier. Before I started practicing gratitude, my life was like the Greek king, who would roll up, who was cursed to roll up the rock up the mountain, and every day he would roll the rock up, and at the end of the day it will roll back, and his whole life, so my life was also like that. I was working very hard, but struggling to achieve the success that I wanted in my life, till I started practicing gratitude. And then I found that everything in my life has become smooth, and it is what Dr. Nupur says, become effortless success. And that's the picture on the right side, which is a snowball. It starts small, but it keeps gathering momentum, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. So when you start practicing gratitude, you may feel that yaar isse to kuch ho nahi raha, it's not resulting into anything big that Dr. Nopur and Ashish talked about. But you got to be patient and got to be consistent and do it day in and day out. And as you do it, you will find that it keeps getting bigger, and your whole life will become magical. And it's not abracadabra magic. There is a process to it. We have very specific practices which we talk about and teach. And anybody who is serious about learning gratitude and practicing it, these are our coordinates. Please feel free to reach out to us. You can take a screenshot of it, on my mobile, or on my WhatsApp, on Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere you want to connect with us, and we'll be happy to share specific practices of gratitude which can completely transform your life in the areas of health, in the areas of relationship, wealth, career, success, etc. So, on that note, I would like to hand it over to Atulji, and thank you, Atulji, and everybody for Atulji for giving us this opportunity, and for all of you to participate in such large numbers and so enthusiastically.
All right. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you, Dr. Nupur. That was wonderful,
Thank you.
really. I'm actually very grateful for your presence here. So, extremely, extremely good. There's not much time for too many questions. Nevertheless, I will squeeze in a couple and ask you.
Yeah, we have got a
So,
question.
I particularly like this slide uh, that Dr. Nupur showed on the human body, and I wanted to actually narrate to you a small incident that took place long ago when I was in the pharma space, and we used to market this cardiology products. And there was this colleague of mine, he and I were studying the renin angiotensin aldosterone system, and it was so complicated, and we were trying to understand it. And then I asked him, I said, "Do you believe in God?" So, you know what Rama replied? He says, "I always believed in God, but the more I read about the renin angiotensin aldosterone system, I believe in God even more, because only God could have created this." So, the whole description of the human body, and you said you feel proud of the body, is actually a miracle, all right. So, thank you so much. I mean, there's a lot of takeaways from this program, I'm sure. But there's one question that I think would be on a lot of people's mind, particularly because we're dealing with small children, they're nuclear families. How do we get children to practice gratitude?
That's a very key question, Atul. And children are very good observers. For the first 7 years of their life, children just soak up. They're like sponges. And in a lot of psychology, neuroscience, we are now discovering that first 7 years of a child's life are kind of a hallmark in creating their personalities, in creating a lot of their biases as well. So and I would say not just if we have children above 7, also, what's most important is that we model the behavior. What they see is what they learn, and what is then reinforced, like I encourage practices that parents, elders in the house should become more grateful. They should become more mindful of their approach in life. Are they constantly cribbing, criticizing, worrying, or are they creating an environment where gratitude can be fostered and nurtured? We can create small things like gratitude jar. We could do small practices that when we all sit together for a meal at home together, we are together. We are not distracted by media. We are not distracted by other sources, but we are just starting our meal by a grateful moment, saying thank you to the person in the house who cooked the food. And, just like a little game, tell children, like, when I do my mindfulness workshops, we have a cup of tea. I am in London. We are obsessed with tea and coffees. I say, this cup of tea that you have in your hand, how many people can you say thank you to for in this cup? It starts with the tree, with a tea plantation, with the person who sows the tea leaves, harvests the tea leaves, processes the tea leaves, by the manufacturing who creates the packet, supply chain, then the water, then the person who makes the cup, you know, that artisan who makes the cup for us. You can actually count up to 100 people to thank for a cup of tea that you're having right now. To the water
Yeah,
system, we are not going to wells to fetch wet water. We have water in our taps, most of us have. So it's about shifting your own mindset, being in great gratitude, and then children will pick up.
yeah. Thank you for that answer. All right, I have one question for you, Ashish. All our lives, we're running after things that we lack. That serves as a driver or a motivating factor. And gratitude talks about being satisfied or being thankful to what you have. So is there a contradiction there?
That's an amazing question, Atul, and that's a question which I get asked so often. And one thing I would like to share with everybody, and that's something which I practice also. People think that if I start appreciating what I have got, I'll become complacent. But we could be appreciating what we have got and still want more. So be happy and want more rather than have a sense of lack and want more. When we are happy with what we have got, we are energized, and it becomes easier to achieve what's more. And in my own case, as I have practiced, been practicing gratitude regularly, my financial prosperity has increased tremendously, even during the lockdown times. So it works. We don't have to worry about things not going right and hope then that they will work right. It's better that we appreciate what we have got, and that leads us to a higher energy plane.
All right, so we are nearing 6. One last question, whoever wants to take it up, and which is very relevant to today's times. How will this science of gratitude help us through this pandemic, this COVID that we are all so worried about?
Well, we did touch upon that, Atul, in the webinar, but understanding that what is the opposite of gratitude can definitely not help us. Fear, isn't it? It'll only aggravate, it'll only create chaos in the society. So, for those of us who are blessed to have a healthy body, healthy mind, let us be grateful for that. For those, and it's time to understand that, whatever you have is plenty. We operate from a vibration of lack, fear. So if we can operate from a vibration of gratitude, that can that shifts and solutions can be formed. One thing that we talk about in our course, but I will quickly talk about here, is that solutions are never created from the same energy at which the problem is created. Solutions always have to be created from a different vibration and from a different space. So if we even want to create solutions to COVID or to handling COVID, we cannot be based at a fear level. We have to change our vibration too. And one of the many ways we change gratitude, and one of the most powerful ways in our experience, is gratitude. So, that's the only way we can do. Practice, be grateful for what you have. And as Ashish said, we can only take a breath in when we leave a breath out. So if there are people we have to let go in this lifetime, let's do that also with reverence and respect, and just be grateful for what we have in our life. That's life.
Thank you so much, Ashish and Dr. Nupur, for being with us this evening, this morning in some countries. Thank you ever so much. It was wonderful having you both here and talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you
I'm
so
sure
much. Very
audience you would
grateful
have
to
loved
your
it.
team.
I'm very grateful to the audience for being here as well. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.